Hey, it's Felicia Pride, head honey and honey child, and host of It's Good Over Here. Many of you may know, but I started as an author before transitioning to writing for the screen. And all my life, I wanted to write romance, which I've been able to do in my film and TV career. Shout out to Really Love and Tender and Look Back at It in Bel Air. But I never got a chance to do so as an author until now. I'm so excited to announce the upcoming release of my first romance novella entitled Come Close. It's also Honey Child's first foray into publishing fiction. You can pre-order Come Close now on Amazon. Here's a quick synopsis. After years toiling in Hollywood, Amaya Ellis is finally directing her first feature film in her hometown, unexpectedly reuniting her with Kyrie Tate, her high school sweetheart, whom she hasn't seen in decades. He wasn't just the one, he was the standard. But ambitions, dreams, and the world got in the way, and their relationship fell apart. They lost touch, moved on, or so they thought. As fate brings them together, they relive their own movie of their past love and find themselves creating a new story. Hey, honeys. Now, some of you may know that I have been developing an exit plan, okay? I want to buy some space, some land abroad, and make my exit at some point in my life. And two Black women who have done it successfully and who are encouraging other Black women to do it are this week's guests. Roshida and Stephanie of Exodus Summit, honey, they are the vanguard, the leaders in encouraging Black women to not only move abroad, but to decenter work, to center rest, and to center themselves. So our conversation gets into some really inspiring and necessary talk around how can Black women set themselves free. So let's get into it. Welcome, honeys in training, and all of those who love us. I'm Felicia Pride, writer, filmmaker, and founder of media and production company Honey Child, where we tell stories that speak to Black women of a certain age with love. And you are tuning into one of our things, It's Good Over Here. It's Good Over Here is your ticket to the delicious adventures in Honeyland. It's a celebration of how good it can get on the other side of 40 across career, life, and love. In each episode, we offer inspiration and insight on aging boldly because, honey, it is good over here. Hey, honeys. I am super excited about today's show because we don't have one, but two fantastic guests. My guests today are Roshida Dowe and Stephanie Perry, the founders of the Exodus Summit, the sabbatical summit for Black women who are ready to get their move abroad plan in place. Roshida and Stephanie, I have been fans for a long time. They have been inspiring me about my own exit plan, which y'all know, y'all have heard about. They are both honeys who now live abroad. Roshida moved to Mexico City after a career in Silicon Valley as a lawyer, and Stephanie took a gap year from her work as a pharmacy technician and never looked back. Together, they've helped thousands of Black women and honeys plan their sabbaticals and career breaks, experience international travel, and change their lives. Welcome, Roshida and Stephanie.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having us.
I have been a fan from afar, so to have y'all on, It's Good Over Here, talking about the adventures that you have inspired me to take. I'm just super excited.
We're super excited. I'm a little starstruck right now, so yay.
I love it. I love it. So I want to go back a little bit, right? Like, I want to go back to that moment for each of you when you were like, I got to get the hell out of here. What was that moment? I'm sure it was the straw that broke the camel's back and a lot of things that led up to it. But what was that moment for you? What actually made you say, you know what, I can do this?
I saw my mom retire at 65 and then try to live her life in a 65-year-old body, try to live out all the dreams she'd had for herself. And I was like, oh, it's a scam. They want you to wait until your retirement age to start living. But you're then in a retirement age body and things are different. And maybe you've lost some loved ones. And this is not the way I want to live my life. And the whole country is set up. The whole country is designed for you to dedicate your best years to working, dedicate your best years to the struggle, and then try to peel off a little piece of goodness at the end. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I went on vacation with my parents. My dad's knee, my mom's hip, right, meant that they were not able to enjoy things to the fullest the way that I could with my 40-something body.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was like, I don't think I can live the life that I want in the US. If I don't want to focus on work, and if I don't want to focus on the struggle, if I want peace of mind, if I want ease in my life and ease in my day, I'm going to have to leave the country to get it. And so I did.
Whew, honey, I feel that so deeply in every bone of my body. But what's so interesting about that is just like our parents, a lot of them didn't know another way, right? So for us to be in this position to know another way and take the risk is huge. So I love that. Roshida, what was that moment for you?
So I got laid off, and I had 6 months notice that the company I was working for was going out of business. And so I knew it was time to look for another job because I'm living in Oakland and girls got to eat. So I actually got, a recruiter reached out to me for an employer in the exact same building I was working in.
Wow.
I showed up to that interview. And sometimes as Black women, when we're interviewing at places, can be a lot of like, prove to me that you deserve to be here.
Ciao.
From like the groups of individuals you got to go through. I think I probably saw 6 people that day.
Oof.
And instead of giving them my best, this is why I should be a great employee, I was there like,
why should y'all hire me?
It was very much like, I don't even want to be here.
Right.
It was like, if you don't even want to be at the interview, maybe you can't even bring your best to an interview. Perhaps it's time for something else. And I'd been talking to my therapist at the time about taking a break. And I think that's when I was like, no, it's not really optional. Like, you actually have to, like, you can't go get another job right now because you're not, this is not how you want to show up in the workplace. Very much, ew. Like, why are we having this conversation when I'm about to be unemployed? I was like,
right.
Not the best attitude.
Well, what's so interesting is that so many of us as Black women center work in our lives, right? And you two were like, nah. How did you have the courage to work through the conditioning, to work through the fear, to work through the identity attached with work in order to get to this other side?
It was, a step at a time. I don't know that either one of us knew when we left work that we were going to quit traditional jobs forever. It was just a pause. And then the pause got longer, and then the pause looked a little different.
And the pause was feeling good, I'm sure.
Feeling real good. Feeling real good. Yeah. I think that's right, Roshida, right?
Yeah, I think it's right. For me, I had a lot of my identity tied up in who I was, right? I went to law school. I went to a really good law school. I graduated. I was working at a well-known tech company. I'm in an industry where, like, I'm the only Black woman who does what I do in this entire country. But, like, I wasn't happy. And I wasn't going to get more happy by doing the same thing that was making me, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Being, the lawyer, doing the thing that I did was not going to make me happier. That's not where my joy was. And so it wasn't really like I found the courage. It was like, this job was going to kill me. Right. And like, I had to acknowledge at some point, with the help of my therapist, again.
Yes. Like, shout out to the therapists who are out here changing lives. Shout out. Yes.
It was not going to get better by doing the same thing. And so I had to do something different. And for me, it wasn't even like I told myself I wasn't going to be a lawyer anymore. I said, I'm going to take a break for a year and come back and get another job. Like, there are only so many people in the country who can do what I do. I'll find another job.
I mean, good. Okay. So you take this pause and the pause is feeling good. At what point are you like, wait a minute, this actually could be my life? And what was that first step to make it your life? I'm over here taking notes, y'all. I just want you to know that. Like, I'm like, step one is, but what was that realization that this could be my life? And then what was the first step towards that?
Well, for me, the realization was not so much that this could be my life, but that I couldn't go back to my old life. Like, around, I had friends sending me jobs, like, look at this, apply for this. And I was like, ew, it's too soon. It's too soon.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was like, imagine having a boss. imagine someone giving me a review, telling me if I came in too late or they need me to stay late to do
the audacity, honey.
Oh, I really, after a certain point of not working, you just become like ungovernable. Like I am like, I could work for someone again, but it would have to be under very, very like specific terms that most employers don't want to give you. Like, don't call me. Don't email me. I'll holler at you.
Don't contact me. I'll find you.
I'll work for you, but don't contact me. And that, I just didn't feel like I could find that situation. I was like, I have to find another way. I have to find a way out of the U.S. workforce because I'm not built for, like, I have seen the way other people live. I have seen the siestas. I have seen that these places closed down.
Yes.
You can't even do things in certain places at certain times of day because everything is closed. And I was like, I was working incredible hours, doing a 2-hour commute for what? For what?
Ooh.
Each way?
Ooh.
What? No.
Ooh.
Acting on your ideas is a form of self-love. And when I decided to write the Creative Comeback Workbook and Journal, it was with you in mind. Storytellers with stories inside of you that you need to get out into the world. But life, fear, uncertainty has a way of leaving us stuck. But no more. It's time to reclaim our creative practice and get unstuck. The Creative Comeback Workbook and Journal can help you get back on creative track. 30 days of dynamic prompts, exercises to stimulate creativity, alongside motivational quotes, journal pages, and more. If you're ready to create again, get your copy of the Creative Comeback Workbook and Journal today at creativecomeback.com. That's creativecomeback.com. Because it's never too late to become the artist you always wanted to be.
I actually did go back to work after my sabbatical. I went back to work for 3 months and I was like, oh no, I can't.
You was like, I tried. I love that so much. You was like, you were trying a good fight. I know you were. 3 months, you were trying a good fight.
90 days. They brought me in the office on the 90th day. It was like, now it's time for your 3-month evaluation or whatever. You're off the probationary period and we're happy to extend to you the full, position. And I was like, actually, consider this my 2 weeks notice. I can't do it. You really can't go back. Once you get to see what life is like without work being the center, you can't go back. Even if you don't have a stat, you may have a boatload of cash. You may not. I didn't have a boatload of cash. I was at home Googling, how do I travel with no money? Right. And
get a boatload of cash. Right.
Well, no, Google said, become a house sitter. And I was like, done. Right. No matter what the situation is, once you take the best kept secret of the sabbatical world is once you take a sabbatical, you're not the same. And it's really you're not going back to that same life. You're going to find a way to make your life so much better. It's going to be so much more of a change than you know. You think it's going to be, a rest and a pause, but it's really going to be a transformation. It's going to be you're going to reclaim yourself after that sabbatical.
Now, did both of you take your sabbaticals abroad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We both walked around to different places and explored the world.
I love that. I love that. And so house sitting, you was like, Google, tell me what to do. And house sitting, how did that come about in terms of you actually moving forward with it? Because it's one thing for us to be like, okay, this is a way. It's another thing to do it.
Yeah, I was... thankfully the blog post that came up was from a woman who was also in her 30s or 40s. She was a white woman, but she was a woman in her 30s or 40s. And so at least I thought this was a thing that would work for me. If the blog post had been someone in their 20s or their 70s, a lot of house sitters are retirement age, then I probably wouldn't have actually tried it. But because she was close to my age and she had house sat, she got free accommodation. She got to be somewhere in South America for a few months. I said, okay, let me go ahead and give it a try. I didn't know, I had never seen any other Black person house sit. I didn't have that. And I was convinced.
I had never heard, I didn't know it was a thing.
I know. I had convinced myself that I wasn't going to be able to get booked to house sit. And I had given myself the worst case scenario. I'm going to pay this money that I hardly have to get this membership. Nobody's going to book me. It's going to be such a waste of time. But at least I knew at least that I didn't want to do what I was doing. Like, I'm not staying at this job. So I at least was willing to give it a try. And I mean, it worked out amazingly. It's helped me see the world without paying for accommodation for quite a long time. And so it was just a matter of, I have to try it. Even if I don't know for sure what's going to happen, at least I'm going to try it.
I love that. I mean, I think that's such a underrated, just like, we know it to be true. Like, you just have to try, but to see it in action in your life is huge. So how did you two meet? How did your paths cross?
Actually, community. Community is the way our paths cross. Someone who, I guess, followed us both on social media, reached out to each of us because they wanted to take a sabbatical and wanted some advice. So they reached out to both of us individually and said, hey, can I talk to you about your sabbatical? And we ended up talking to them. And in the conversation, both of us, they said, do you know the other person? And we were both like, no, I've never. Because, when I went on my sabbatical, I wasn't looking for Black women who were doing this because I didn't think Black women were doing it, right? If you don't know what's out there, you don't know to look for it.
And what year was that?
For me, it was 2018 when I took it.
Yeah. And I first left in 2015. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So you were on this call. You all didn't know each other, and then you're connected through this call.
So she connected us, maybe like actually through a DM or something. And then we met, we ended up, I invited her on my channel, on my YouTube channel. I interviewed her on my YouTube channel. And then she has forced me to be her friend ever since. Who says that?
She thought we were just going to have a conversation. Joke's on her. Okay. We're friends.
We are friends.
Yes. Five and a half years later.
That. Wow. I love that.
Yes.
And so, and I could imagine that being like so amazing to find community of Black women who are doing what you're doing. Talk to me about the community building that you both have done through Exodus Summit and your Facebook community and your YouTube channels. Talk about that community building and the women and stories you've heard from that.
Sometimes when you do something on the internet, it's so isolating and so lonely. And so you don't get to see the reach or the impact, or, you don't get to meet the people who you talk to all the time on your screen. But not us. Roshida and I have built a community of women who holler at us. They talk to us. They want to spend time with us. They want to come to our cities. They want us to come to their cities. We have an amazing community of Black women who love to be together, right? Together with each other and love to be together with us. And so they force us to be like really hands-on and in-person people. When we thought, it's a YouTube channel, it's an online conference. We thought it was going to be a distance thing. There's no distance between us. But it's been amazing. It's been the community part. So we thought that we were creating Exodus Summit to help teach Black women how to move abroad and take sabbaticals. What we actually did was create a place for Black women to find sisterhood, friendship, relationship, right? We created a place where Black women who have always felt maybe a little different, a little bit on the outside, a little bit weird because they didn't want to commit to working, a little weird because they didn't want to commit to being Miss Black Excellence, right? A place for them to come together, meet each other, and bond and really, really share and connect deeply. And it's amazing. It's an amazing thing to see.
I love that. I love that. So let's take a step back I want to talk about Exodus Summit, and I want to talk about first. So you all realize that you're not going back. You can't go back. So it sounds like, Roshida, you started a YouTube channel, and talk about how you started to build a career for yourself, knowing you're not going to go back. What did that look like?
So I didn't build a career for myself knowing I was going back. I had some money saved. This was my back plan. I had some money saved. Okay. And I was like, when I can't afford to eat anymore, I'll start looking for work.
Okay.
Like, for me, it had to be like poverty. Like okay, so I already knew I was going to be living with somebody else. Like, okay, if I'm living in my mom's house and she's like, put up some money and I ain't got the money, that's when I'll go back. Other than that, I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But what I did start doing was I had more as I spoke more online about taking this career break. I had more Black women reaching out to me to say, I would like to learn how to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, set up a little calendar where they could come and talk to me for free, and I would help them all and do all the things. Now, if you have ever opened kind of an online portal for anyone in the world to reach out to you for free assistance of your time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to spend an hour with you, half an hour with you, an hour for free. That does not always work out the way you want it to.
Right.
And
right.
what that meant for me was that a lot of people would just no show, right? It ain't costing nothing. It didn't matter if they showed up or not. And so it was like, I am here. I could be eating ice cream
on the beach
outside right now. Florida. I could be
right.
I could be doing, and this was during the pandemic, but at the beginning of the pandemic. I could be anywhere in the world, or like anywhere in Florida because it's pandemic-y.
Yeah.
And you got me at home, and you're not showing up for this call. So finally, I was like, okay, well, you're going to have to pay a little bit, to make sure there's a fee to do that.
Yeah.
And I started charging people, and they kept showing up, and I was like, okay. And then eventually, it grew into this business, right? Like that's just what happened. Like I was time boosted up, and so I started charging people, and they valued my advice enough and thought I knew enough to pay me for my knowledge. And I still do that. I still help people one-on-one. You pay me, I will show up. I will come. I will put on a shirt and sit in front of a camera for you.
But I love that because I love Black women being in the, information space, however we get in there. You know what I mean? So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. It was very much like, I have information that can help.
I did start a business on purpose. Yeah, I did start a business on purpose. Rashida's mom lived in South Florida. My parents live in Delaware where it snows, right? So I couldn't.
I can't go there.
House sitting gave me a free place to stay, but I still need to eat. I just, so I needed to charge money. I did start the business on purpose because I knew that I had 8 girlfriends that I wanted to take a sabbatical, right? I want Charmaine, Katrina, my cousin Kim, right? And so I thought, if I know 8 Black women who I know really, really need a break, I know 80.
Yeah.
And if I know 80, they know 8,000, right? So I did start a business on purpose because, listen, everybody got to know about this. I can't wait. I need to tell everybody. All Black women.
Well, this is freedom work. This is freedom work, right? Like, I love that. Okay, so then you guys come together for the Exodus Summit. How did that idea come together, come to life? How was it? Because you were, I'm assuming, in different countries planning a summit.
We did not meet until after the first summit.
Wow.
Honestly, like, I don't know that I've ever had a trust relationship with another person the way I have a trust relationship with Stephanie.
Wow.
And
that's beautiful.
It's very beautiful. But like from the very beginning, like even not really knowing her, we've always shown up with the common goal of like helping Black women. And that has helped us through like anything anyone could throw at us. But how it came together was another person suggested it. We did a series of interviews with women who had taken sabbaticals. On my YouTube channel and 6 on her YouTube channel. Found 12 Black women who had taken sabbaticals. We interviewed them. And one, Keena Williams, suggested that we do a conference. And we're both people who were like, it's the least amount of work.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point, right?
What is the least? And so the idea of a conference was like, girl. No. And then so that was like December 2019. And in June 2020, Stephanie shows up on my phone.
Yeah. I was like, will you host a virtual summit with me? Yes or okay? Right? I ain't giving a
girl. And I was like, But when we did the series of YouTube videos together, we worked so well together, right? We worked so well together that I was like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
It was very low stakes. We charged almost nothing for the first summit, right? And so there was not a lot of money involved. super secret, not even a secret, everybody, whatever, but weird. For the first 3 years we were in business, we used Stephanie's bank account for everything. I don't know how to do this. If I wanted money, I had to be like, Stephanie, can you send me some money?
That is trust, honey. That is trust to the nth degree.
No, like whatever.
Wow.
But like we had shown we show up in integrity every day. Right?
Yeah.
And I know that like we come whole, we come with the same mission, the same goal. And so, okay, like Stephanie's not gonna run off with the money.
Yeah.
Where's she gonna go? She don't have to go nowhere.
I love that.
We operate under a duocracy. It's like, who gonna do it? So like we could have
somebody got to.
We could have set up an official, we could have set up our business structure earlier and set up actual business accounts earlier. But who gonna do it, right?
Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it?
We had to figure out a way to get a little money in the first time. And
so
like I did something, her name was on it. And when I tried to get access, they were like, we don't know. It's fine.
So talk to me about the conference. What do Black women learn at the conference? What do they take away? What's some of your favorite moments? Because it's year 3, 4, 5, year 5. So talk about just like what have been some of your favorite moments and what are some of the takeaways Black women have?
Well, every year that we've done it, the underlying theme has been about moving abroad or taking sabbaticals. And then we add like maybe another layer on top of that. Once it was about making the money to move abroad. Once it was about some of our success stories coming back and telling how they did it. But every year, no matter what topics we talk about, we really focus on action over inspiration. So what if it's like, I don't want to show you that I did something. I want to tell you the steps I took to do it in case those are steps you can take too. Like not everybody's going to be able to take the same steps. We don't all come with the same capabilities, I'll say.
Yeah.
But if you see what I did, maybe you could tweak that for yourself. Right.
Yeah.
But if I just show you the finished product, where are you going to go with that? Right. Like, yes, I moved abroad, but that's not enough information for you. So every year we really focus on bringing in speakers who are open, because we don't want you showing up being like, I made $1 million,
but I ain't going to tell you how.
You should do it.
I've been to those conferences. Yeah, honey. I'm like, okay, well, why are we here then?
We are tired of that, of going to places and showing up and being like, but you ain't really tell me nothing. You said a lot.
But you said a lot.
And so we really get down and talk about the steps you took. Okay, so we have a woman coming this year to talk about getting remote work. And she's actually been here multiple times. Libria Jones is coming to talk about remote work. And we are she is also doing a workshop that's going to be a hands-on, let me show you how to use this program kind of workshop.
Yeah.
As opposed to remote work is good. You should get a remote job, right?
Good luck.
Right? She's going to show you.
Yeah.
This. So it's really that focus that I love, that women can walk away with actions to take instead of just, that sounds nice, but right? Yeah.
That's right. This year, we're talking residency visas. A lot of people think you need citizenship to go to another country, right? So this year, we're talking residency visas. We're talking healthcare abroad. We're talking how to different options on how to school your kids if you have school-age kids still. What if you have aging parents? We're talking about some real helpful sessions that are going to make some women who think they would like to move abroad, but don't really think it's realistic, right? We have some sessions that are going to show them, oh, this is realistic. I'm doing it.
Sign me up. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about your own travels. You know, Roshida, you're doing this podcast from Mexico City, and Stephanie, you're in San Jose, Costa Rica. So I want to dig into your favorite places, the things that you've learned from traveling, how traveling has changed your life. I want to hear all the goodies.
Yeah. What are your favorite places, Roshida?
So Stephanie's saying that because we've taken 3 amazing trips together this year. We've spent so much more time together.
Oh, I love that.
On long trips. So we were in South Africa and Mauritius, Fiji together. And where else have we been together? Bermuda.
Nice.
We went on a cruise, the Ritz-Carlton cruise.
Ooh, how was it?
Man, do it.
Okay, because I'm not a cruise person. I've taken cruises, but
I have never done a traditional cruise ship. But so what we did was the transatlantic cruise. So from Bermuda, we went to the Azores, stopped in the Azores for a day or 2, and then went to Lisbon. So most of it is at sea, which means all you're doing is laying around and eating.
Well, those are 2 of my favorite things. So
listen,
it's more yacht size.
Okay.
Yes.
The ship size.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think we had, how many people were on board? Less than 200?
Less than 200.
Less than 200 people on board. And then like double that with the staff. Amazing.
Ooh.
So Fiji is your favorite place, Roshida, now? Do you have a favorite now?
Fiji was a place where I was like, I have to get back here as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Is this sugar daddy time? No.
It's not time. Why is not time yet?
Because, child, they talk to you. I hear.
And you gotta talk back, apparently.
The talk part is like even the easy part. I was like a little light fraud. Not yet. But
how do I get back?
Because honestly, like I'd heard from people before that like the people in Fiji are a version of Black. They are and that's not just like the brown skin, but like the hair. Every once in a while, very frequently, you'd catch a gold tooth. Like it felt like Black in the 80s. Like I know that's not a Jerry curl, but if it was,
yeah,
like 20 years, right? Like
yes,
it feels very homey, and it was a place where the Fijian people recognized us as family, right? And it wasn't, it never came off as like, you are a guest. We have some places you go places and they're like, you are a guest, must treat you nice.
Yeah.
Or you are guests, we gonna try to treat these white people nice and you gonna get whatever's left over.
Yeah.
There was this woman at this coffee shop in our resort, and every morning we walked by, she'd be helping somebody and would stop. Like, they can wait.
Yeah.
I would come around the counter and come hug my girl. Whoever I'm making coffee for, always the white people, they'll be all right.
Right.
They ain't got nowhere else to go.
Right.
I'm waiting here when I'm done saying good morning to them.
I love that.
Like,
yeah.
And it's not just, I love good service, right? Sign me up. But It wasn't just a good service. It was really that like, we walked in places and we're getting the hugs. We're getting the like love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to break a little rule for you real quick. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
When you reach the resort, they welcome you home, And I've been welcomed home on the continent before. And in Fiji, it felt more authentic. Like when I heard a welcome home in Morocco, it felt like I'm just saying this because it's going to like endear me to you, right?
Yeah.
But in Fiji, it felt really like we mean it. Like this is our home and we're bringing you into it and we want you to feel it. I could talk about Fiji forever. We're
going to have a Fiji episode of It's Good Over Here, okay?
All my heart.
Well, I need to get to Fiji, clearly. Yeah. Stephanie, what are some of your favorites and just some of your experiences traveling as a Black woman?
I love Portugal, especially Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal is a place where you can like blend in, and where people will come up to you and start speaking Portuguese because they expect you to speak Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. They tile the outside of the buildings. Outside of the buildings are like decorated and tiled, and it's just really a pretty place. And they have 300 days of sunshine and weather's good, and you can get a meal for under 10 euros, right? So I love Lisbon, but in Vietnam, I liked the person that I was in Vietnam. There's little small towns in Vietnam where you just rent a bicycle and you rent a room. I rented a room for $180 for 30 days. It included the bicycle. And this was 2016. This was early 2016.
But still, what?
30 days, $180. I had a room with a bathroom and a mini kitchenette, like barely a kitchenette. And I got to ride around the rice fields on my little bike, and I would go to the little lady, and she would make me a little I call them day jammers. Can you make me something with this print? And then next week I go back and get a different print.
Oh, I love that.
Really loved being a traveler in Vietnam. It may not be it's not the easiest place. I'm always going to be illiterate. It doesn't matter how many times I go back. I'm never going to be able to read or speak Vietnamese. But it was a place where I could be slowed down and at ease and by myself or with other people, and eat good. Oh my. The food.
Your face, honey.
I don't know how I talked about it that long without talking about the food. Eat so good. So
I love that.
One of my favorite places, not the most convenient place. It's hard to get back and forth to, but it's one of my faves. Roshida hates it.
I love that.
Roshida hates Vietnam.
I wasn't even going to say it. I just want you to do all that talking. It's not on the top of my list.
I love that because it sounds like you all are being able to indulge in luxury, being able to indulge in simplicity, being able to indulge in also just space and time. So I'm curious, what have you learned about yourself through this decentering of work and this centering of yourselves and your desires and your pleasures?
Everything. I didn't know who I really was. I knew worker me. Right. I knew the worker version of me who had to get up and go to work. I knew that part of me, but I didn't know that there is an actual person, a whole woman. And I hadn't met her because I'd spent all the time, either I was going to school and then I was working and then I was working some more and then I was tired and then I was sad and mad about life. I got to meet the whole person and realize that some of the things that I thought were some things I thought were personality traits were just responses to trauma. I got to learn, I got to shed a whole lot of parts that I thought were parts of me that were just things. I got to get rid of a whole lot and uncover a whole lot. I learned that I love talking to strangers and I love having community with people. When I used to be a loner, I'm still kind of a hermit. When I'm home, I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Right? But I also learned that I love talking to strangers. I love meeting new people.
Yeah.
I love conversation. I learned that I don't have to live up to other people's expectations. I learned that it's okay to let some people down.
Yeah.
Even if the people is my old version of me. Even I have to let down old Stephanie so new Stephanie can live. Right.
Yeah.
There's too much. Right. But I learned so much about myself that it would be such a shame if I had gotten to my last day without ever meeting her, without ever meeting myself, without ever being my full self, which was the path I was on, right? I was on the path of, let's see what happens. Let's see if I can make it to 65 or 67 or 72, and then maybe I'll get to live.
Yeah.
I was on that path. So it would have been such a shame.
Ooh, that is powerful. Roshida.
So I learned a lot of what Stephanie learned. I also, for me, I told you before, but like who I was at work was a lot of who I was. I was unhappy at work though. And I felt that's just who I was. Right. And so leaving that behind and being able to separate what I do, from making money.
Yeah.
And separate making money and what I do from who I am.
Yes.
Have really freed me up to see like that my life is full of potential. At any point, I can do anything I want to do. I love that my life is my own to create. And that's something and I never had the space for before, right? It was always, I have to go grocery shopping on this day. And then I've been running all day. So I need to be at home sleeping on this day. And the rest of the week I'm at work and maybe I can fit in a happy hour if I'm not exhausted.
Oof.
But now it's like, I can sit outside in the sunshine and do whatever I want and not think, what day is it? Who knows? Right? I've learned me that is kinder to myself, kinder to other people, who can show up more for my nieces and nephews, who is reliable in a way that I wasn't before, in the sense that like, I always had 1,000 things I needed to manage for like organizations I was a part of or the job and I needed to, show up for this or that, things that I didn't even care about, but looked good on paper or I felt like I could care about.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yes, I can babysit. That's fine. Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing else I need to do. Right? Yes, I will be there for her birthday. Sure.
Yeah.
What else am I doing? Right? And so I am the community member I needed 5 years ago. And I kind of love that. But I have the space now to be that for the people in my life and to be that for myself. Right? It's very hard to know what you need when you're in the moment of need.
Yes.
Right?
Talk about it.
So getting out of that moment of like that dire need that I was in when I was drowning at work, and not by the amount of work, but like by everything that came with it.
Yeah.
I could not see a way out, right? Like this is just life. Like this terrible feeling every single day was just life. And now I know it's not, right? And that's if I didn't learn anything else, if I didn't learn anything else from taking a break and kind of switching some gears in my life, learning that back up for a second. When I was working at my law firm early on, I was having a terrible, terrible time. Everybody knew it was a terrible time for me. And the managing partner took me out, invited me to breakfast once. And he said, I heard you're really unhappy. And I was like, oh, we gonna make some changes. Yes, we are winning. He is heard. We gonna do some things. That man looked me in the face and said, every associate isn't happy. You just have to deal with it.
Wow.
You are the most powerful person at this job.
Yeah.
And you were like, screw happiness. You're probably going to be an associate for the next 10 years. And this is my first year. You're never going to be happy in these 10 years. And while other employers have not said that, and while I have not said that to myself, I have treated myself the same way, right? You're not happy. But that's just how it is. That's just life. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's really powerful, this idea of us just accepting life as Black women, like this is just as good as it gets. And, we've seen us do that across jobs, partners, opportunities, friendships. So to say, no, this could be different, or to step into the idea that this could be different is huge. And then to empower other Black women to do the same is amazing.
Yes. Add countries to that list, right? This is not as good as it gets. Your country, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay in that situation. This is nothing. Nothing is as good as it gets. We don't have to settle on any front.
I love that.
It doesn't feel like settling. If you're not happy, I guarantee there's better out there. In any aspect of your life, that aspect of your life that just is uncomfortable, that makes you feel bad, there's a better option. It may not be obvious until you step out of yourself.
It may not
be obvious when you're in the moment. It may not seem easy either. Even if you can identify it, it may not seem easy, but it's there. There's your happiness is out there. You weren't put on this planet to be unhappy. I know I wasn't.
I love that. I feel like that is such a great way to close this segment. Your happiness is out there, honey. Go get it. Go get it. So we would like to go into our segment called Pleasure Principle, because two of our words at Honey Child are desire and pleasure, and we define them very expansively. Anything that we want and anything that makes us feel good. So I want to talk about, what does pleasure seeking look like to both of you these days?
I am really literal about this thing. To me, pleasure is I start my day with some coffee and vanilla extract. There was a time in my life when I could not go to the store and buy vanilla extract all willy-nilly, right? You got to look at the price, look at the size. Is this going to make sense? If I am starting my day with some good coffee and some vanilla extract, like that is a piece of pleasure. That is a hint of pleasure that I can give myself every day without abandon. Vanilla extract is flowing freely in my life.
Amen.
Without measure, just pour it in. And
it's
a little bit more, right? It's just a reminder. It's just a reminder that you don't have to measure out the pleasure. right? You don't have some people like, oh,
Yes.
that's enough. That's just a little bit.
Yeah,
That's enough.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Pour it all on me. I want all of it.
Yes.
And that's the thing that I do every day to remind myself. Pour the vanilla extract, pour it liberally.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Do not measure out the pleasure. Yes.
Mm-hmm. There was a time in my life when I, working lawyer, when I had to check my bank account every single day.
Wow.
And not because there wasn't any money in there. It was because I had been did such a poor job at paying attention to things like that law school debt that like the amount that had to go out and the amount that was coming in, like I had to manage something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like expensive things. So I still want the shoes. I still want the shoes. Right. So now one of the things that's truly pleasurable for me is living life with, I budgeted. I'm a serious money woman.
Yeah.
You know, budget. I know what I spend. I do this. I got my limits. So now my pleasure is like, that doesn't matter. I just spend money. And it's weird because I'm not like, I'm spending money on experiences.
Yes.
Buying the things isn't necessarily my thing anymore. It's the experiences. It's like, I really like traveling first class.
Yes.
I really like staying in nice hotel. Give me a nice hotel, baby, and I will be the first one to be like, I'm not leaving.
That is very much me. I love a nice hotel. Like, yeah.
And so just, booking a vacation with no thought to like, how am I going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Because the money will show up. Like I said, I got them backup plans, a little fraud,
sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy on that.
Backup plans. But
money's coming. Yes.
For now, the work I do, we really talk about the fact that we make sure money flows through our community. Yeah. And when you help money flow, money comes to me. We love paying Black women.
Same. It is one of my favorite things to do, to put money in Black women's pockets, honey. It is
the way that multiplies in the Black community.
Yes.
Right? From our very first year, we've paid every single person who's ever spoken for us. And it's so important to us. And I think that and a lot of people, even people who speak a lot, have told us, like, this is the most amount of money I've ever been paid to speak.
Wow.
And because of that, that's why I know the money is always going to come. Like, I am generous with Black women. So I know.
Yes.
She's going to be generous with me, right?
I love it.
And so I book them trips and say, where's the money? I don't know. That's not my business.
The how is not my business at all. I just do the no. I love that. And
the money's always there. Okay.
I love that. Talk about your deepest desires at this age.
I turned 50.
Yes, honey.
Yes.
Happy birthday. Belated happy birthday.
Thank you. And I still want a family. I still want children. There was a time, so in my 40s, I spent most of my late 30s grieving what I thought I could never have, right? Grieving the fact that I thought I would never have children. But you know what? I decided I want them and I'm going to do it. Okay?
Yes. We love that.
However that works out. My deepest desire is to have a family, to have children, raise children. Yeah. Even though I'm 50 years old, I'm going to do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't actually, I think, ever talked about this online, but I am recognizing that I have a desire for partnership.
Ooh.
What?
Sugar daddy. No.
No, I have a desire for partnership, but the problem I face, but I think a lot of women also face, is that I am a reluctant heterosexual. That the men I'm meeting, I do not desire to partner with. Right?
Well, so, you are not alone, honey. You are not alone. We have these conversations. I'm finding them less and less interesting. I just like,
and so it's like I want a thing, but I don't know if I want the thing or the idea of the thing. You see what I'm saying?
I think you want the thing. I'm just going to chime in and say, I think you want the thing. You just want the thing the way you want the thing. And we just have to have faith that it only takes one.
It only takes one. Yes.
There's a lot of them in the world.
Yes. I just would like mine to show up.
And also it's like, do we have to go through all the things? Do we have to go through all of the yeah. That's the part. I'm right there with you. I am right there with you.
It's something that so it's not one of those. There was a point in my life where I thought there were things that I could not do unless I was partnered. I was around a lot of women who said, I'm not going to do X, Y, or Z. I'm not going to buy a house until I'm partnered. I'm not going to do this.
Wow.
I had certain things that I thought I would not. Like, I never thought I'd go to Fiji unpartnered. But I went to Fiji with Stephanie, and we had a great time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we had a good old time.
Yeah. And that's usually when the partners start to show up. Is when we are fully comfortable and that's what they say.
You know, like I'm not at the point of saying like there's a part of my life that is not going to be complete unless I'm partnered.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I like the idea of having someone else around who I like. And I don't like a lot of people. So there's that.
You are not alone. But what I love is both of you, speaking these desires aloud, right? Because I think sometimes I'm right there with you, Roshida and Stephanie. It's like sometimes it's like it's scary to speak these very big desires aloud. So I love that. And I hope that for both of you. Okay, so the name of our show is called It's Good Over Here. So tell us about what's something that is getting better for you on the other side of 40 or has gotten better for you on the other side of 40.
Life. I don't know.
Everything. Just say everything. It's fine.
Listen, I don't know. So there's, I have a better relationship with my family.
Oh, amazing.
A better relationship with my friends. I'm more confident in who I am.
Yeah.
I have more money.
Child, talk about it. I talk about that all the time. It's like
over 40 is really pretty awesome. It really, and like I feel like every decade kind of gets better. I'm looking at 50 like, hey girl, what you got from it?
I remember my 50-year-old friends, my 50-something-year-old friends are just badasses, like living bold lives. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready for that too.
And the 60-year-olds are off the chain. Okay. The 60-year-olds.
They acting up. They showing off.
No filter, nobody to answer to. Living.
And so in our community, we have a lot of like 65 plus women.
Yeah.
Every year we're like, okay, what is our plan for them? When they ignore all our rules, how do we corral? What are we going to do?
It's like we got to this age and I am not listening to nobody.
Be like, I heard what you said. Like in our own event, be like, I heard what you said, but what I'm going to do. Like,
I love that. I love that. Stephanie, what's good for you?
I'm still trying to think of something original. Everything is good. So yes, my money
is a good answer.
My friendships and relationships are better. My family, my relationship with my parents is better. My outlook on the future is better. I was so doom and gloom in my 30s. Like, what was
Me too, honey. I was a mess because I think too in their 30s you're succumbing to so much pressure of what your life's supposed to look like.
Yeah,
and it don't. And you just like my life doesn't look so. Yeah.
I think, at 40s, in my 40s, I just realized like all that stuff is made up. All those timelines.
all of it's made up. It's all a scam. It's all, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, what would you tell your younger self then?
That all those timelines are made up. And that nothing is finite. Like nothing is set in stone. You can try some things, fail at some things, and try some new things. You don't have to be so rigid about the path that you're on. It's okay to take some detours.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
I would tell myself to turn towards joy. Turn towards joy. Feel that joy on your face, right? At all times, turn towards joy. You'll never go wrong by doing that. Not in a way that's meaningful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then lastly, what do you swear by as a honey? Could be a beauty, health, ritual. I know your vanilla extract, Stephanie. What do you swear by, Roshida?
I'm actually going to shout out something honey related. It is the Do's. I think it's their honey bee gel.
Yes. got you curled up. Got you curled up.
And my hairdresser in London.
Oh, and look at you.
International.
Yes.
I think it's called honey bee gel.
Yeah.
Or something. Swear by it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you both so much. I've been a fan from afar for quite some time. You've been inspiring, to me and my exit plan that I'm working on to get the fuck out of many things, including this place. So thank y'all. But also just to hear about your experiences choosing yourself, is huge, right? And the things that you've learned about yourselves through your travel, through your sabbaticals. I know our honeys who are listening are really, really going to feel that. So thank you so much. How can they find you? What are you up to? How can they get connected with your community?
You can find us on Facebook. We have a community on Facebook. Our Facebook group is Exodus Summit. The best way to find it is exodussummit.com/group. What is it?
Community.
I'm vibes. She's facts.
Yes. 18,000.
Stephanie's like, that's correct.
18,000 women.
Yes.
And growing every day.
And they're awesome.
Love that. And tell us about the Exodus Summit so that we can share it with folks. And we can actually put this on our socials. So give us a nice idea about the Exodus Summit. Yeah.
Okay. Exodus Summit helps Black women speed up their exodus, whether it's forever or for a little while. If you want to move abroad or spend some significant time away from the United States, Exodus Summit is for you. We bring in Black women speakers who show you exactly what steps to take or some steps that you can finesse for yourself instead of just inspiring you to do it.
Yay! Thank y'all so much. This was amazing. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode of It's Good Over Here, a celebration of how good life can get on the other side of 40. This podcast is a Honey Child thing, so don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at It's Honey Child. Visit our website at honey-child.com and subscribe to our bi-weekly newsletter, A Taste of Honey. And for bonus content and other exclusive honey dip stories, subscribe to our Pay What You Wish Patreon, The Honeycomb. Until next time, honeys, it's good over here. You coming? Hey, honeys, have you signed up for our newsletter? A Taste of Honey delivers right to your inbox bi-weekly and is full of honey news, conversation, and shenanigans. Sign up now at honey-child.com. That's honey-child.com.